Few things on the list for you today. We are going to go as quick as possible today. Now, what do I have? I am going to be looking at things that annoy people in the office. A lot of people are working from home at the moment, but a lot of people still working in the office and people doing hybrid working. So what are the things that annoy you in the office? We're streaming to YouTube and we're streaming to LinkedIn. Hello to the people who have connected with me over the last week. You're very welcome. My name is James O'Reilly and I'm here to help you with your business English in association with LK Formation. So we are looking at things that annoy people in the office. Please leave me a comment below. Give me a like. That also shares to your network. It's great for me. We're going to be looking at our word of the day, our business word of the day. We're going to be looking again at some American versus British versus Australian vocabulary, what we use in different countries. We are going to do a little bit of grammar, a thing that often is a bit difficult at times for people, which is the past perfect conditional. You'll recognize it when we talk about it. It's also known as the third conditional, but anyway, I will explain that later and we'll make it as easy as possible. And then we're also going to be kind of circling back, which is an English business expression. To circle back, it's to come back to the same topic as before, which was working in the office, but we're going to be talking about digital nomads, people who work in different places, going from place to place. This is in reference to an article I saw in El País English edition, and we'll be looking at a video of that as well. So that's why I want to go as quick as possible. I want to fit as much as I can into this lesson. Okay, so I'm going to start with things that annoy people in the office. What do you think they might be? Let me know in the comments as well what annoys you when you're working in the office and what you do if it happens, or do you just kind of, we say grin, which is and bear it. Grin and bear it means just deal with it, just not do anything. Let me move this back up. I'm supposed to move my photo. Okay. So if I make myself a bit smaller down here, move myself in. Okay, great. So I'm going to go to our first page and we are going to be talking about things that annoy us in the office. And up here we have micromanagement. What is micromanagement? This is constantly monitoring or checking up on others' work, can be irritating and may signal a lack of trust. This is where your manager is on top of you and seeing what you have been doing. Is everything okay? Have you done this? Maybe we can do, and maybe not trusting you to do the work that you believe you can do on your own. Micromanagement is a manager who is constantly, we say, on top of you. Here we have checking up, which is a good phrasal verb, to check up. All of these phrasal verbs have different contexts. In this one, it's to look and to see if everything is okay, to check up. It can be irritating and may signal a lack of trust. Yeah, because you feel that perhaps the workers feel that if my manager trusts me, she or he will let me do my work. I think sometimes as well, it's quite common in the beginning that a manager, I think it's okay in the beginning to micromanage until you gain the trust. But after a few years or a while, I suppose it can be irritating. Number 2, interruptions. Interruptions in the office. So you can just listen to me. You don't need to read your screen. If you want to read your screen, absolutely perfect. I'm going to just get this up here. Interruptions, constantly interrupting others while they are working in meetings, or can be, constantly interrupting others while they are working or in meetings, right? Can be disruptive and prevent productivity. Prevent meaning to stop. Okay, if you're from a Latin country, this is no problem for you, but for other countries, prevent, it can be a strange word. So interrupting others when they're in meetings or doing a presentation, maybe sending them messages. Also, we must note that if you are doing presentations or meetings, You should have a notification, I suppose, on your email or on your platform, letting people know that do not disturb, I'm presenting or I'm in a meeting. It still may not stop people though. You let me know. Okay, this was a topic I talked to with some students the other day, which is gossip. And this is in Spanish would be cotillar. This is talking about other people. This is I think it's an international hobby. It's a national sport in some countries, I find. But however, I do believe it's natural. Personally, it's my personal opinion. In the office, people are going to talk about other people, but there's no real escaping. But to avoid it, we often say, keep your head down. Keep your head down and keep your nose clean. Okay? Don't give anybody anything to talk about. Keep your nose clean and keep your head down is don't be noticeable in the office. But it is difficult, and gossip is what we do. We talk about people. Oh, why is that person not coming? Or did you hear about this? It's kind of inescapable. But a lot of people don't like it. Talking about others behind their backs or constantly complaining can create a toxic atmosphere and harm morale. Atmosphere is the ambiente in Spanish. And I think environnement in French, maybe. You can tell me. But yes, it creates a bad environment, toxic as well. Yes, I understand. I do remember I'm working from home now, but yes, in the office. If somebody is constantly complaining, it can create a negative atmosphere. That's number 3. 4 is poor time management. Being consistently late for meetings or missing deadlines can create frustration and delay progress. The deadline is the time you need to... I left a video here on LinkedIn the other day about deadline. This is the date that you need to have something delivered. So the deadline is on the 20th. You need to have your presentation or the work delivered and finished by the 20th. Or yes, on that day. So being consistently late for meetings or missing deadlines can create frustration, delay progress, and be annoying for people. Are you one of those people? Are you constantly late? Obviously, it's not you, it's someone else. Or there was a lot of traffic. That's one of the things when I was working in London, I'm going to go digress, is it was very frustrating because you needed obviously to be in work on time, but there were constant delays or disruptions on the tube, which is the underground. And it was really frustrating because if you relied on the tube or the train, it was quicker than the bus. But if anything went wrong, you were going to be late. It's very frustrating in London if you need to take the tube. I think perhaps maybe cycling is becoming more popular for that reason. But it was terrible. Don't make the mistake in thinking that the London Underground is good, because it's not. It's horrible. And they don't even have air conditioning. I think it's because it's the first tube ever made. Poor time management. Number 5, disrespectful behavior. Disrespectful behavior such as interrupting, speaking over others. Okay, I'm sure you have this in online meetings, or meetings is when I'm speaking and then someone starts talking on top of me. I have noticed it's more acceptable in other cultures. I've lived in Turkey, I live here in Spain, I've lived in France, the UK, and what I've noticed is in some countries it's more acceptable than others. So I would say to a minimum in the UK. In Spain here, I think it's more acceptable to a degree, to a point. People talking over each other, people don't seem to get as annoyed or irritated. And in Turkey, it's quite disrespectful. But of course, if you should know where you're working and you know the limits, of course. But I was surprised here when I came to live here first that talking over each other, there was a higher limit here in Spain. And you get used to it. But such as interrupting, speaking over others, and battling others can create a hostile work environment and harm team dynamics. Hostile is negative, almost like a war, hostile. Environment, harm team dynamics. Okay, we're going to look at a few more. Again, as I said, do let me know I'm looking at the notifications here. Do indeed let me know if you have anything that really annoys you in the office. Okay, on to the next ones, the next 5. We have is loud talking or noise. People may find it distracting or annoying if others are talking loudly and making noise that interrupts their work. How do you like it when you're trying to work and somebody decides to have a very intense telephone call right beside your desk? This is this table we call the desk. Yes, I can understand that. That must be very annoying. Strong smells is the next one. Strong smells from food, perfume, or other sources can be overwhelming. Overwhelming is too much. Your work may be overwhelming. It's too much and irritating to others. Yes, absolutely. I like the smell of coffee personally. I don't mind coffee, but if somebody often in the UK, people will eat at their desks because there's not such a tradition of going to the canteen together and having a meal together. It's not so common. You generally go outside, you go to a shop, and you bring it back to wherever you can eat. If you're lucky enough to have a place where you can eat, excellent, wonderful. But if not, often people eat al desco, not al fresco, al desco, at their desk. And of course, this is where we get the strong smells. Perfume for women, aftershave for men. It can be annoying, irritating. Messy workspaces, cluttered. When something is cluttered, cluttered, it means it's messy. It's not organized. Cluttered or messy workspaces can be distracting and make it difficult for others to work effectively. I suppose so, yeah. If things are kind of in order, you feel more, you're able to breathe better. I suppose you could work more effectively. Poor hygiene. This is when people smell. Okay, this is the smell of body odor. Often we say in English, BO. BO for body odor. Where am I? Poor hygiene, yes. Such as not washing hands can make others uncomfortable and may spread germs. Okay, I don't know if I ever really noticed somebody not washing their hands because I don't know. But BO, for example, what do you do if somebody in the office has a body odor problem? Do you have someone talk to them? Do you have a manager talk to them? Do you talk to them on the side? Say, hey, listen, James, maybe perhaps you don't notice, but there's a smell. I don't know. That's definitely a difficult one. And perhaps a manager should be on top of that, should be in control of that situation. But I suppose that would be the one I've noticed in the past the most. Poor communication is our final one here. Unclear or ineffective communication can lead to confusion, mistakes, and frustration. Absolutely. I probably would put poor communication right at the top. Right at the top. Because you want clear communication from your manager. You want clear communication between teams. But it is unfortunate that sometimes teams even work in the same space and don't talk to each other. That's a very poor communication. I think it's, for me, fundamental. And it can make things just work so much more effectively and quicker. Let me know yourselves. If you guys are going to the office, most of you will be in an office. What irritates you in the office? And don't be shy. You can complain about other people from other countries if you want. Perhaps English-speaking people. Okay. We're going to move on now, and we're going to look at our word of the day. Our word of the day is agile in a business sense. Agile basically emphasizes flexibility, adaptability, and responsiveness to change. It's kind of a business buzzword. We call these, you will hear it a lot in business, and people like to use it. So for example, one I was talking about the other day was disruptive or disruptors. Like people saying, yeah, we need to be disruptive. We need to make change. We need to be disruptive. Or disruptors can be negative for one business and positive for others. We talked about Uber being a disruptor. We talked about Airbnb being a disruptor. I can't remember the rest, but that was in the past stream. So changing the way things are done. Agile in this case is flexibility, adaptability, and responsiveness to change. So yes, if you think about just being agile, often you'll say somebody is agile, like a gymnast, athletics. So let's look at some examples. Number one, I will say that you can listen. Agile methodology, that's the pronunciation. Agile methodology. This is a project management approach that emphasizes flexibility and continuous improvement. That's an agile methodology, a project management approach that emphasizes flexibility and continuous improvement. Okay, it's not fixed. We're going to see how it goes, and we're going to be flexible and agile. Agile team. This is a cross-functional team that works together to deliver projects or products in an agile way. That's an agile team. You'll also say, so guys, we need to be an agile team. Agile software development is a process for creating software that prioritizes collaboration, adaptability, and customer satisfaction. So you're going to be hearing a lot in this buzzword in the English office, like we need to be agile, just simply those words. Or so when it's in relation to software development, this is what you're thinking of. Prioritizes collaboration, adaptability, and customer satisfaction. Thinking on your feet, basically. Things change quickly, and we need to be agile. Agile marketing, a marketing approach that prioritizes speed, flexibility, and experimentation to achieve marketing goals. Great. An agile workforce. These are the people who work. These are the employees that are able to quickly adapt to changing market conditions or business needs. We're going one direction. Okay, guys, we're going this direction now. Okay, and you need to adapt. Agile supply chain. A supply chain that is able to respond quickly to changes in demand or supply chain disruptions. Okay, your supply chain is from the producer to the end user. The end user, this is my phone case. Let's pretend it's the phone. You make the phone, and in the end, I buy the phone and I use it. I am the end user. I'll be showing a video about this soon. Agile leadership, a leadership style that emphasizes adaptability, transparency, and empowering teams to make decisions and take action quickly. So people were often saying that they don't like micromanagement. What you want is agile leadership, okay? Letting your team be empowered to make decisions themselves in order to take action quickly. I didn't need to say in order there, but it's kind of fits the sense. I could have said to make decisions to take action quickly. Okay, in order is not always necessary. Great. Moving on. Okay, American versus British versus Australian. We looked at this before, and we had some words. So quickly go through this. This is kind of a bit fun. We say American when we talk about United States because we have English, Irish, Australian, but we don't have United Statesian. So in English we say American, and that means English-speaking American people. And for other people we'll say Colombian, Mexican, Peruvian, Costa Rican, we'll mention the name, but it's because we don't actually have a United Statesian name. Right, apartment in American English and flat in British English. I think apartment now people are beginning to use in British English. It's a bit more. Flat used to be associated with poorer people, social housing from the government, because in Britain everybody had a house. Even social housing was a house. So flats were social housing in the urban centres, because there's a lot of space, and that's how the country operates. But nowadays people will say apartment, and are becoming more fashionable to live in urban areas. Elevator in the United States and lift in British and Australian. Soccer in America and Australia. Soccer last night, Real Madrid beating Chelsea 2-0. I was hoping, I can't say, but no, I don't like Chelsea that much. But because I'm a Liverpool fan, it's hard for me with Real Madrid. It's hard, but I understand that this team is unbelievable in the Champions League. Okay, so soccer in America and Australia, and football in the rest of the world, really. Gas, they'll say gas in America, and petrol when you go to the petrol station or the gas station. Fries in American English, and a lot of people don't know this, but it's chips in British English. Chips are fries, and the one you call chips in America is what we say crisps. It's very complicated, but that's the way it is. Truck, number 6 in American English. Lorry in British and Australian. We do use truck as well, but it's bigger than a lorry. Cookie in America. Biscuit. Pronunciation here, guys. Biscuits. It's almost like B-I-S-K-I-T. The spelling is the French spelling, which would be biscuit, but we say biscuits because we pronounce it correctly. The French don't know how to pronounce their own words. Okay, I'm joking. Cookie, biscuit. Candy, sweets. That's right, yeah. My wife says candy. I say sweets. Vacation in America. Holiday, yes, that's it. And pants and trousers, which we saw the last day. Okay, lots of different words. If I were to go to the United States, if I were to go to North America, English speaking, I would just, depending, if I knew they weren't going to understand me, I would just change the word. I have no problem saying candy, no problem saying cookie. I can just change it. We need to be flexible after all. Okay, moving on. The past perfect conditional. This is where we get on to our grammar. Why not have a little bit? There's no harm in having a little bit. This is also known as the third conditional, and it's a grammar structure that expresses hypothetical situation in the past. Hypothetical, it's not real. In business, it can be used in a useful way to discuss alternative situations or scenarios and evaluate past conditions. So let's have a look at the way we can use this. So hopefully by seeing, it will make more sense for you. Okay, go down here. Right, here we go. If we had invested, so had is the past and the if is the conditional, the hypothetical. If we had invested in that project last year, we would have seen a significant return on investment by now. If we had invested, so, and we can also say we would have seen a significant return on investment by now if we had invested in that project last year. So you can change the clause, okay? You can change the clause around. If our sales team had closed that deal, we would have achieved our revenue target for the quarter. If our sales team had closed that deal, we would have achieved our revenue target for the quarter. It didn't happen. It's not real. It didn't happen because something else happened. If the supplier had delivered the raw materials on time, we would have been able to meet our production deadlines. Okay, so it would have been. And in the next one, let's start. We would have been able to launch the product at the industry trade show if we had completed the project on time or on schedule. As you can see, we can change around the clause, but we can't. Often I'll hear people say if we would. And if you start putting would and if in the same part, you're going to get into a mess. Keep those separate, okay? Say one thing and then say the other. So if we had completed the project on schedule, we would have been able to launch. So you're keeping if and would separate. That's my trick. If the CEO had approved the proposal, we would have been able to move forward with the merger. The merger is coming together of two businesses to merge. And if we had implemented the new process, we would have saved a significant amount of time and resources. You can come back and revisit this and listen if it's something that you want to, if it's something that interests you. It is something for more advanced learners that can be a bit tricky. The last thing I want to look at is we circle back, is the digital nomads. These are people who are working in foreign, if you are allowed to work from home, you can probably travel all around the world. And this is from El País. It is a place in the Portuguese village in the island of Madeira, which, as we can see, is, we look at Spain here and we go down, it's in the middle of the Atlantic, just above the Canary Islands. And there is a community that has been set up of people working from this place. And I have a video. This is a fantastic article. If you go into El País and the business section of El País in English, so anybody can read this. It's a fantastic article. It's really interesting. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the video of somebody quickly, just a little bit of a woman interviewing people about their opinions of living in this place. So let's have a listen.
Where are you from?
I'm from Germany. Renat is from Brazil.
What do you do for work that lets you live on this island?
We are running a yoga and meditation school called Soul of Yoga in Germany, Austria and Switzerland. We are having seminars on the weekends and also online courses, online mentorings, coachings in groups, one-on-one. So what I'm doing here is like organizing the business side, planning programs, doing the marketing side, because that's like what consumes most of the work, and also having online classes and online programs.
You have the classes also in person?
Most of them are in person. There's also a colleague of mine who is actually living in Hamburg and driving around to different cities. I just stayed here for 6 weeks now, so I'm gonna go back next week to have a class in Munich, then I have one in Vienna, then it's another one in another city.
So do you keep your house in Germany?
No.
You have no address, no fixed address?
No, as of now, not.
And what were you doing before this?
I was doing the same job but in Germany. Before that I had been an engineer, slowly went down from a 5-day week to a 4-day week to a 3-day week and scaling up solopreneur thing. Then it just became like a full-time thing.
So you were...
That's a new word. I never saw this. Normally a person who starts their own business is called an entrepreneur. But this guy said solopreneur, which is quite interesting. I never saw that before. When you do classes together, it's in person. In Spanish, presencial, and in English,
you're able to replace your salary from engineering with doing yoga and meditation retreats?
Depends on the fluctuations induced by Corona policies all over the world, but it's going so far.
What would you say that,
Okay, guys, that is just a brief taste of the video. The woman is traveling with Kristen. I'll try and get this link up later, but I'm going to jump into a class right now. So this should be a useful video for listening. You've got the subtitles about this group and community who are living around different parts of the world, in this case in Madeira, and working online. Is it something that interests you? Would you like to work online? You can let me know in the comments. Again, give me a thumbs up. Share to your network. It really helps me to get more views, and I will see you guys very soon. I hope it's been useful for you. Thanks again. All the best. See you later. Bye.